Hi, I'm Tamsin Wotherspoon from Cool Canvas. In the last video you saw Ollie make this, and in this video you're going to see how to set it up. You saw Ollie make this in the last video. I am going to show you how to set it up in 5 different ways. Ollie's role within the business, as he mentioned before, is the designer and manufacturer and installer, and my role within Cool Canvas is to go into the schools if they need extra support or help and set up the spaces and inspire the teachers, which then inspires the children in different ideas on play. I love the role, it's amazing. I love seeing how excited teachers get and children get about the different ways that you can actually set up a space. So hopefully you'll be inspired today. Again, if you love what you've seen, please subscribe. There's a button down here. We're going to work through sticks and cones, which naturally then leads to the one shop, pebbles and shells, beads and buttons, and then flora and fauna. All of these I've chosen really because you can actually get them from nature and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So within a school, I think that's really important, and it's just keeping things as simple as possible. So hopefully you'll like what you see. And I'm going to say it again, please subscribe because there's many more videos to come that will hopefully inspire you. So it's always good to get down to the children's level as well, because they get to see things in a different way that we see them. There's just such an amazing opportunity for language and mathematics as well. So we've got all different size cones, large cones, small cones, long sticks, short sticks. You can talk about texture, smell. This one here, actually you can smell the sea on this, which is quite good. So you can open up into like the life of the stick before. There's just so many opportunities here that you can tie into any of your topics you're doing at school. I've got these amazing little baskets. How cute are these? I just love like miniature things. So these were from the range, and they're not like really expensive. So again, children can go shopping, choosing their cones. You can have a chalkboard where you write down the things that are, whether the shop's open, shut, what's for sale. They could draw pictures. Oh, and these scales as well, these lovely, oh, I love these scales, I'll leave them there actually. But it's a really nice way for the children to look at weight and a different way of measuring things. Again, they can write it down. But everything here has been foraged from the outside. You can get the children involved in foraging for the stuff to bring in for the shop themselves. It's just about empowering them and just letting them explore, because they'll come up with different ideas that you'd never even think of, because that's how amazing kids' minds work. Okay, so I've shown you how to set up the sticks and the cones. Now the next shop I'm going to set up is a one shop, so I think that naturally leads in from the sticks and the cones. Ta-da! The one shop, all the twigs. The twigs are found from the beach, from outside in the park, just walking along. Again, these are all things that children can bring in, but if you want to collect them, obviously that's the other option. So we've got these different kinds of twigs. Now this simple, oh, come to me, thank you. These simple twigs here have the ability to turn a child's imagination into the most amazing, exciting place possible. So we've got the twine on this one here with the cones on. This one here has just got some beads wrapped around some of the thread. This one's just got wire wrapped round, and again a little feather being put in. These are all, some raffia as well. These are all really cheap, easily made, and children, even small tiny children, just love wrapping thread round, so these are perfect. So the next setting up of the shop is going to be pebbles and shells, but I thought I feel a little bit of magic coming on. I'm going to test out one of these wands and see if it can actually help me set this up. Which one's calling to me? I think that one there. Okay. Let's try. Seriously good magic. Right, I better put that down very carefully. Again, it's all free. It's all natural and has the most amazing opportunities for language, for maths, for texture, for drawing. Here we're using, instead of the baskets, we've got these little paper bags. You can collect, you know, when children have birthday parties and all their gifts come in bags, you don't have to buy any bags. You can use them and they're free. So there's some little bags. Again, we've got a different way of measuring. We've got a different set of scales. So we've got these amazing shells here. Beautiful stones here. There's nothing stopping you drawing and painting on these stones as the next day, like a lead on from the shop. It can become like a painting studio. But they're just so lovely and just so interesting to hold. Each one tells a tale or a story. Got massive shells here that you can hear the sea in. And now we're going to measure them. So we have the scales here, and there's nothing stopping you, again, having a chalkboard. You could even write on the floor. So we're going to measure these little shells out here. So pop them on. And children can compare the different weights from the smaller shells to the large ones, from the smaller stones to the larger stones, the fat stones, flat stones, thick stones. So these ones here, we weigh 1 ounce. So I think I might just see if it'll work on the floor. There we are. So you could draw a picture of the shell here. So I know those ones weigh 1 ounce. You don't have to have a chalkboard if you haven't got one. You can just use the floor. I've just used a stone on the floor. These are just simple ideas. So we've measured those out, and I think I'm going to buy them. So we'll pop them in here. Oh, they sound really nice as well. So that's those ones here. And should we get a heavier set? Now we all know that child that will get the heaviest stone possible. Okay, so that weighs 19 ounces. So that's a big fat stone, and that is 9 ounces. And they've got a record of it, and they could just spend all day measuring, writing if they so choose. But the opportunity's there for them, and that's what this shop area is about. It's about creating opportunities for the children to create and play in a way that they haven't done before, and to inspire them in life. Okay, I'm going to set up the next stall for you, and it's going to be the beads and buttons, or buttons and beads, whichever way around you want to do it. So give me a minute. Again, a different setup. It looks a little bit simpler, which can be very nice, because a lot of the time you want to try and keep it as simple as possible. I'm putting lots of things out just to show you different bits that you can use, but simplicity is the best, because children can get overfaced if you put too many things out, and get really excited as well, and it all just might go a bit crazy. So if you just simplify everything to begin with anyway, and then you can see how they work and play with the space that you've created for them. Another way of making things different for each of your shops is using different containers to hold the beads and the buttons, or the shells or the cones or the twigs. So we had a basket, we've had paper bags, and now we've got these little paper tubs here, which are great for using the buttons and the beads in, so they won't fall out everywhere. Again, it makes things a little bit different for each time you set up the shop for the children as well, because it's always about keeping things nice and fresh for them, and fresh for you as well, because that's just as important. Everybody's got a button box at home. You could ask your parents to bring in some buttons, or I'm sure you have as well. I'm a bit selfish with mine. I like to keep mine myself, so I get some from the range, which is great. You've got all these lovely little wooden buttons here, which again could lead on to another workshop. You could paint them and it could be a painting button workshop. With this, a nice idea is if you had pipe cleaners, you can thread the buttons as well, so then it could turn into like a button kebab. And all children love threading, so you could thread your buttons on here all the way through and just have one after another. And then you could pretend you can make your own little fire next to it, and then you could sell it. Children have got time to really fill it up, and you can put a couple of examples out there for them, and I'm sure they'll find their own way of doing this, because again, it's quite natural to a child. If they see something that can stick through a hole and thread, they will. So a different idea which could get the children thinking about weights is, you could say that you're going to draw a picture with your buttons and your beads. So you can decide if you can have a big picture or a small picture. So if I'm going to say, I want a small picture, so please can I have 1 scoop? It doesn't have to, I mean, the children, if you're early years, are going to struggle with the ounces and grams, but you could you could break it down into scoops. So I wanted 1 scoop of pink buttons and 1 scoop of wooden buttons, and I'm going to create myself a big picture with these. So then the children can go find their own little space and then come up with a pattern or a picture they're using with their buttons. So it's another nice way of using the buttons and for them to be using their imagination and thought-provoking, because we always want to, as a teacher, we want to give children the opportunity to incite their imagination but also problem solving. So they'll have to think how many scoops they need for a large picture or how many scoops they need for a small picture. This is a little pattern. It doesn't have to be a shape, a picture or anything. It can just be anything they want. There's no pressure. It's just about exploring. So we're going to look at the final one, Flora and Fauna. Again, bear with me. Okay, here's the Flora and Fauna all set up. I'm going to show you a couple of different directions you can go in. Again, everything has been taken from nature, mainly this garden. It's not cost me anything. And that's the whole idea of the objective of this, is to just find things in nature, to forage around and get the children involved in finding things and creating the spaces themselves. Come and have a closer look here. We've got all these flowers, the bluebells, picked from the garden. I've just changed the decoration a little bit by just putting up these flowers and a bit of ivy around here just to give it a different feeling than the other shops. There's no weighing in this one, but you can count out, if you want to use it as a shop, it could be a florist. So we have all these flowers here, beautiful little bluebells, white bells, a bit of greenery here, because the children's hands are so small, aren't they? We've got pieces of paper here, and they could wrap it up around here, and they can sell little bundles of flowers. We've got elastic bands somewhere. Right, so there we are, just a little flower bouquet. So they could be 10p each. I've not shown any money in this, but if you have like pretend tills in your settings or spare coins and change, also bring that in, because that's a really great way of getting the children to understand money as well. So that's one little idea, so a florist. Another idea is for creating people. So this is made from the cones and the twigs, and with just the bits of the bamboo leaves that are cut off here and just wrapped around with all the pieces of thread. There's also this little one here as well that my daughter made, and that's just got raffia, which you just buy a bag of raffia like this for 99p. So, oh, and perfume making. I can't even believe I nearly forgot that. Right, perfume making. Got all these lovely little glass jars. You can put some flowers in. Again, you can spend more time. I'm just going to show you a couple of different ideas. Put the flowers into the bottle and you add some water and they just look very pretty. Or you can go to town and get little wooden bowls, put water in. You can get oranges, lemons, have them on there, and they can squeeze it into the bowls and then pour it into the jars afterwards. You can also name you want. So this one can be called Happiness and Love. This was done before, and that can be attached round the bottle. So again, it doesn't have to be perfume. You could, well, it could be like potion making as well. So all the language opportunity that's involved in that, and the maths and thought. It's thought-provoking. You're asking them to think about different smells and the colours and how that evokes feelings inside. So if you like what you've seen today, please don't forget, subscribe, because there's going to be more videos to come. Also, check out our website, naturalplayareas.co.uk. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, we're there. We'd love to see anything that you've made or created from the videos that you've seen, because that's what keeps us going as well, that knowing that we're actually making a difference in schools and inspiring people and helping them in their classroom settings. Also, we do training days. If anybody needs that little extra support or ideas or just to freshen things up again, please contact us via the website and ask about the training days. Thank you. Thanks for watching.